the girls.
Hi everyone. Well, I would like to come out of the closet about something. This isn't easy for me to do, but I think it's important. So I'm coming out of the closet, but I'm not gay. That's not what it is. I am actually an autism spectrum mom. Yes, my son is apparently on the autism spectrum. He hasn't been diagnosed, officially with the psychiatrist. It takes a long time to get on that kind of waiting list. At this point, he's basically been diagnosed by his pediatrician, or the pediatrician says that the symptoms he has are autism spectrum disorder symptoms, which really didn't actually surprise me very much because I recognized them as that. And I don't like labels, but there's a purpose to labels, is that you kind of know what you're dealing with. But my approach would be then not to just send him to a shrink or medicate him, but to try to get at the underlying problem, in various ways. So sometimes it is good to know what you're dealing with. And I thought maybe it was ADHD, but it didn't quite really fit with that. And anyhow, the doctor said they were symptoms of mild autism. And because this is concerning me, so of course I'm doing a lot of research on this, and I have been for a long time, because he had some of those signs. Well, they were mild, but he had some signs for a long time. But it was really mild, and largely he seems totally normal, as you would say. And so I thought, I don't know, is it just a quirkiness? Am I just sort of imagining it? But as he's getting older, actually the differences are becoming more apparent, especially when I spend time with other children. I realize that there's some things about his way of talking, his behavior, the way of doing things that's very, very different. And actually, for the last couple of years, I've been sort of just dealing with this on my own, and it's actually been pretty difficult. It's just something I just kind of kept to myself, and it obviously makes it much more difficult to do things in your daily life, or to go out when you have a kid who has these kind of problems. And also, part of what's difficult is that the lack of other people's understanding that, because the people think that autism means that the child is nonverbal, they're flapping their arms all the time, they won't look at you, and those kind of things. So, if the child's like that, they kind of recognize it more as, oh, your child has a problem. When it's more subtle, what's actually very hurtful and very frustrating for the parents is that people really don't understand, and they think that it's something you're doing, like they think that your child is a brat. And by the way, he's not like that you do have good days and you have bad days. You have good hours and you have bad hours. It's like, it doesn't mean it's the same all the time. It's another thing I didn't understand about this. I thought, autistic kid, it's like kind of the same all the time, or autism spectrum, because there's a lot of variety. That's another thing. There's so much variation in this that you can't pinpoint and say, well, all autistic kids or all ASD kids are like this, because there's so many differences. They're each totally unique. And the other thing is that, like I said, every child on the spectrum is very unique. And I was thinking, well, like very mild autism, Asperger's, like it's just a quirky personality. And, in some ways it is. And this is not to say that kids who are on the spectrum aren't wonderful and cute and lovable and, awesome. They are. My son is, and every mom who has a kid on the spectrum knows that her kid is totally wonderful and she loves her kid more than anything in the world, right? But the thing is that there's a difference between being quirky and having your own mind, or being a free thinker, versus it interfering with your day-to-day functioning. And that's the problem. It gets to a point where it makes it hard for the parents when they're young. But I know that if there's not a way that's found to deal with it, the underlying causes, which I believe to be biomedical, that the person will have a lot of difficulty functioning in every area of their life. Also, what I didn't realize was that it's not like a blanket thing. You start out one way and you stay that way, and if your kid isn't regressive and nonverbal by 18 months, that they're out of the woods. That because there's so much variety in the manifestations and in the underlying causes, that for a lot of kids it can actually get worse over time, which unfortunately is what I've been seeing with my son. it's gotten worse, and it's impairing his functioning more and more. And so I'm trying to figure out, you know, like what can be done to get him well, because I see that he's suffering, he's having, you know, difficulty, and this is why he can't, you know, like just sort of act normal, and why he doesn't, you know, respond to the parenting strategies that should work. So, you know, I'm just coming out of the closet to you to let you know that I'm dealing with this, and I guess it's the thing that a lot of moms, they don't want to tell people. I know people who've had kids on the spectrum who didn't tell anyone, and then they recovered their kids, and it's like, it's just a big secret. But I want to share it with you because I want to share with you what I find in my journey to give back, because what's been the most helpful to me is other people sharing their journey with me, and specific moms also, you know, communicating with me and giving me support, which really helps, because most people who don't deal with this, they really have no idea. They don't know what it's like. So I appreciate that support, especially Kathy. Thanks so much. And so I just want to give back, and so I'm going to be sharing with you what I find that could be helpful in your journey with your child on the spectrum. And yeah, I'm gonna have to make more videos like dealing with things separately, because otherwise it's gonna be too long. But that's what it is. And if you have a kid on the spectrum, you know, let me know, or if you want to share something about your experience, let me know. And thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.